Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I was 12 the night my childhood ended. The apartment was unusually silent, except for the low hum of the refrigerator. I slipped from my bed, bare feet brushing the cold linoleum, and padded toward the kitchen. The light above the sink flickered, throwing jagged shadows across the counters. That's when I saw them, empty beer bottles, cigarette butts, and stacks of unpaid bills scattered like fallen soldiers. And in the middle of it all, a note. 16 words. My mother's slanted handwriting. Kelly, we cannot do this anymore. Ashton will take care of you. We are sorry. My throat tightened. Mom. I called, voice trembling. No answer. Dad, only silence. Their bedroom door hung open. The closet was half empty, drawers yanked out. His leather jacket, gone. Her perfume bottle, missing. A faint scent of whiskey still lingered, bitter and sharp. Panic clawed at me. I grabbed the phone, dialing my mother's cell. One ring, two, then the mechanical voice. This number is no longer in service. My father's line gave the same cruel reply. I pressed my forehead against the wall, whispering to myself, they'll come back? They'd have to. But even then, I knew they wouldn't. A knock startled me. I opened the door to find Mrs. Dawson from Social Services, her expression tight with pity. Kelly. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Your Uncle Ashton is on his way. I don't understand, I choked out. They wouldn't just leave. Her sigh was heavy. Sometimes people make choices they shouldn't. Ashton agreed to take you in. Hours later, headlights swept across the living room. The door opened, and in stepped a tall man in a dark suit, his eyes sharp yet strangely gentle. Uncle Ashton. I'd only seen him twice before. He looked at me, then at the half-empty apartment. They're gone? He asked quietly. I nodded, holding up the note with shaking fingers. He read it once, jaw tightening. Then he crouched so his eyes met mine. Listen to me, Kelly. This isn't your fault. Do you hear me? Not one bit of it. Tears blurred my vision, but I clung to his words. For the first time that night, I felt the faint outline of something I hadn't expected. Safety. Still, as I stepped into his car, leaving the apartment behind, I couldn't help but look back, hoping to see them running after me. But the street remained empty, swallowed by shadows. That was the night my parents vanished, and the night Uncle Ashton became my lifeline. The ride to Ashton's estate felt endless. I pressed my forehead to the window, the city lights thinning into stretches of dark countryside. Beside me, Ashton remained silent, his profile illuminated by the dashboard glow. He wasn't the kind of man you asked small-talk questions to. His presence carried weight. When the car finally turned through wrought iron gates, my breath caught. Before me rose a mansion that looked like something from another world. Stone columns, wide glass windows, gardens trimmed with surgical precision. I had gone from a cramped apartment to a palace overnight. Inside, the air smelled faintly of cedar and old books. Chandeliers glimmered overhead. Servants moved quietly, their eyes flicking curiously toward me. I felt small, out of place, as if I'd stepped into a painting where I didn't belong. Ashton's voice broke the silence. From now on, this is your home. You'll have tutors, meals, anything you need. I swallowed hard. And my parents? Will they come back? His jaw clenched. For a moment he looked almost human, almost vulnerable. Then he shook his head. No, Kelly, don't wait for them. They've made their choice. Something inside me cracked, but before I could cry, he added firmly, You'll be stronger here. I'll see to that. He led me upstairs to a bedroom larger than our entire old apartment. Velvet curtains, a canopy bed, shelves waiting for books I didn't yet own. It was beautiful, yet terrifying. That night, lying under heavy blankets, I realized this wasn't just a rescue. It was a transfer into Ashton's world, a place of secrets, rules, and power. The house was unlike anything I had ever known. Warm light spilled from tall, mullioned windows, the fragrance of polished wood mingled with roses drifting through each corridor. For the first time since my parents had vanished from my life, I felt anchored. Meals were shared at a long oak table, where Ashton's conversation flowed easily from history to art, from science to the ruthless precision of commerce. To me, each word was a lesson, each glance across the table an unspoken assurance that I was wanted, that I belonged. In the years that followed, Ashton did more than shelter me. He shaped me. A man of immense discipline and vision, he became the father I had never truly known. He invested in my education, challenged my assumptions, and introduced me to the subtleties of his world. The measured elegance of strategy, the unforgiving arithmetic of business, the quiet power of influence. Under his mentorship, I learned not simply to stand on my own, but to stand with purpose. What began as guardianship evolved into something far greater. Ashton was crafting an heir, but more importantly, he was nurturing a mind and spirit he believed worthy of carrying his legacy forward. Time flew by relentlessly, year after year. 17 years passed in this way. The morning began with an unusual silence. The halls of Ashton's estate, normally buzzing with distant voices and footsteps, felt hollow, as though the walls themselves were holding their breath. I noticed it first at breakfast, the untouched silver tray, the absence of Ashton's sharp voice commanding the staff. It wasn't until a pale servant approached me, trembling, that I understood. "Sir Ashton," his voice faltered, "he passed last night." The words struck me like a blow. For a moment I couldn't breathe. Ashton, the man who had pulled me from abandonment, who had promised strength and shelter, gone, just like that. I whispered, "How? He was fine yesterday." The servant's eyes darted away. "The doctor said it was a severe heart attack." The mansion shifted instantly from sanctuary to cage. Shadows stretched longer. Whispers grew sharper. Death, I realized, doesn't just take a life. It awakens ghosts. By noon, they appeared, faces I had not seen in 17 years. My parents standing in the grand foyer, dressed in black as though grief suited them. My stomach twisted. "Kelly," my mother said softly, her eyes glassy. "We came as soon as we heard. We never stopped thinking about you." I clenched my fists. "You left me. Don't pretend now." My father's tone was smoother, practiced. "The past is behind us. Ashton would have wanted us united." His gaze lingered on the mansion's gilded staircase, not on me. It was then I understood. Their sudden return wasn't love. It was inheritance, opportunity. That night, lying awake, I heard their voices echo down the hall, sharp and greedy. Ghosts had returned, not to comfort me, but to claim what they had abandoned. And I knew their presence meant my battle had only begun. The following morning, the estate study filled with heavy silence. Ashton's lawyer, Mr. Brenton, had summoned us, his face grave behind polished spectacles. My parents sat across from me, draped in black, their grief a thin mask stretched over greed. "The will," Mr. Brenton began, sliding a sealed envelope onto the desk, "is clear and binding." I felt my heartbeat quicken as he read aloud. "To my ward, Kelly, I leave the totality of my estate and holdings. She alone stood by me when others vanished." The words struck like thunder. My parents stiffened. My mother's hand gripped the chair so tightly her knuckles whitened. "This is absurd," she hissed. "We are his blood. How can our daughter, abandoned or not, claim everything?" Mr. Brenton's gaze sharpened. "Because Ashton chose her. Blood means little when loyalty is absent." My father leaned forward, his voice smooth, calculated. "Kelly, you must see reason. You're too young to manage all this. Let us guide you as parents should." His smile was as cold as marble. I met his eyes, my voice steady despite the storm in my chest. "Parents don't abandon their children to the night. You forfeited your right the moment you walked away." The room pulsed with fury. My mother's mask cracked, venom laced her tone. "You think Ashton saved you? He cursed you. This wealth will devour you. And when it does, don't come crawling back." They rose, their presence like a shadow stretching long and dark. I watched them go, my fists trembling not from fear, but from the weight of their threat. For the first time, I understood the inheritance wasn't just fortune, it was a battlefield, and they were my enemies. The days after the reading of Ashton's were blurred into whispers and wary glances. My parents lingered like shadows at the edges of the estate, circling but never entering. Yet within these halls I began to see Ashton's presence everywhere. The journals he left me, the sketches of our evenings by the fire, and above all, a letter sealed in his careful hand. "Kelly," it read, "wealth is a burden if carried without purpose. Love is the true inheritance. Guard it well." I pressed the letter to my chest as tears blurred the words. That evening, Mr. Brenton returned, offering quiet counsel. Your guardians will not stop, but you carry something they can't touch, his trust, his love. That is stronger than gold. I nodded, though a knot of fear coiled in me. Then I will honor him, not by clinging to this fortune, but by building something he would be proud of. Outside, the wind rattled the old windows like a warning. I looked into the darkening night and whispered, "You taught me not to fear ghosts. Now I face the living." For the first time, the weight of inheritance felt less like a curse, and more like destiny.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.